All right. Well, based on this afternoon, all the afternoon games went exactly like I thought they would, and all those teams won. I don't think anybody should be surprised, except for the Seahawks. Like everyone thinks the Seahawks are a crappy team, but anyone that thinks that they're not a good team, you don't know football. Because if you look at them and the way they play in their team, it's a defensive team. Like if they put up a lot of points, it's because it's scripted. Because they have guys everywhere. On offense, they're a running team. They're built to run the football, and they still have DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and then Marquise Goodwin. So they have a good team. Russell Wilson looks like he should have stayed there and just stuck it out with the team that drafted him. They knew what they had. They knew how to use him, and now he's at the with the Broncos. And look what happens. You think this guy Ripken, whatever his name is going to be the savior? He comes out and stinks it up even more. So you guys over there, you guys need to make that work with him, or you need to send that coach out of there because he's supposed to be this offensive guru, and he can't get more than 9 points. Or what was it against the Jets? Well, how many points he scored? 9 points, field goals, like against the Jets, and their quarterback only passed for a buck 30 or something. So he didn't even throw for a touchdown. So you just came out and stunk it up. So it's looking really bad. So other than that, all the games in the afternoon went as planned except for the Bucks game. No one could have seen that coming except for the Panthers and the Bucks. They knew. What else? That Colts game, that could have gone either way. That was a tough game because the Titans and Colts, it seems to me the Titans win at home when they play and the Colts win at home when they play. I just picked wrong this time. And I knew that it was going to happen that way, but for some reason I just went with the Colts. And I thought they would. It wasn't that I went with them, it's just that I thought they would cover that spread. I thought it'd be a tighter game. Ended up being a 9 point game, so I was wrong about those two. We know about the Saints game. I was within points of that one. And the Falcons, they laid down for the first two quarters. That could have been a much better game. They should have been able to at least clear that. But yeah, the Bengals are better. I thought the Bengals were just going to lay an egg that game. So I was wrong about those three games. But other than that, I was right about everything else, which is what you want. You don't want to get more than 3, 4 wrong a week. If you stay at that mark and get everything else right, you're good. You don't like anything more than 3, 4 is basically you're half and half, which is still good too, but you really want to be around 60, 70%. And that's really what you want. But obviously, you wouldn't pick every single one of those games every week. You want to pick the best ones. And it stinks because a lot of people were picking that Buccaneers game. So and Brady's been doing this for 20 years, so he knows how it goes. He knew he had to lay this egg. Like and they did it early. They did early passes and made the guys drop wide open touchdowns, so everyone could see that they had opportunities, but they messed it up, right? In quotations, like they really messed it up. Nah, man, I'm not buying that one. So we're gonna end up breaking that game down because there were so many things that happened in that game, and depending on how this night game goes, like depending on how the score is, what the score is, and how they play. If anything crazy happens, we'll maybe break down that one. But we have to go over the Buccaneers game because that game was obviously a trap game, rigged game, the most rigged game of the afternoon. They did it to him last week too. So I don't think the Bucks are gonna lose next game they play. I don't know if they have a bye week, but there's no way they're gonna lose the next game. There's no way Brady's gonna agree to that. Like he understands the money. All the money was on them, so he had to basically shit the bed. He knew that because everyone was picking the Bucks. They had an 11 point line, so it's like, bruh. I kind of had a feeling it was too good to be true. I should have just knew that this was a trap. So this one's on me. Like I should have known to just pick the Panthers to cover and the Bucks to win. At most, I should have done. I shouldn't have picked the Bucks flat out because it's too good to be true for them to walk all over them. Like I heard some other people picking them to win by like 30 points. Like, I. Yeah, a lot of people don't really know how to pick these games. But yeah, that was the one that yeah they got me on that one. But everything else, man, they didn't really get me. It was just the Falcons because every week I pick an upsetter, and I pick a top dog. So this week the Bucks were my top dog. The top dog got trounced, and then the Falcons, they were my underdog, the one that no one was expecting. I thought they were going to be the one that no one would expect. It was them and the Commanders, but not really because the Packers suck. So I don't know why you would pick the Packers just based on Aaron Rodgers. That's how you get trapped in making the wrong pick. You can't get caught up in these players' names and who's who. You got to look at the matchup for what it is and get in the minds of Vegas and think about what they would do in this situation. Like, who would they want to make the money on? Who do they think everyone's picking? And then pick against that. That's usually what I try to do with every game. But yeah, sometimes I get it wrong. But I mean, I really clearly wasn't thinking that way with the Bucks game. For some reason, I was just thinking the Bucks were better and they're gonna win. And I gotta stop doing that because that game had nothing to do with skills at all. Which I'm gonna show you guys. I showed you some snippets, but I'm gonna really break down what the hell was going on and who was doing it and why they were doing it. I mean, I'll try to figure out why, but it just doesn't make sense, man. I know a lot of people lost money on that, a lot of money on that game, because it's a game that Brady shouldn't have lost, and we saw it time and time again. Them either dropping a touchdown or how many times on on third and short or first and short did they false start, guys? Countless times. How many times they dropped the ball, stupid penalties, just nonsense. But we're supposed to believe that this team is better than them, man. Like, I just don't see it. I don't. We look at this Ravens game. I thought I thought the Browns would cover, and they did. So we did good on that. I said the Ravens would win, and that happened. So it's basically the Saints, man. Still, the Saints killed me, man. They really should have covered that. Dalton just took a crap on us. They should have covered that. But anyway, the Falcons, they didn't cover or win, so that's all right. So those are the those are the three we got wrong, and then there was only one more. The Giants, we were right about that. The Cowboys, we were right about that. Commanders, we were right about that. And then here's the Colts game, we were wrong about that. Everything else, Raiders, we were right. Jets, we were right. Seahawks, we were right. Chiefs, we were right. Now we got to just see these last two games. I think the Patriots are going to handle business tomorrow. Tonight's going to be a good game, though. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game between these young quarterbacks. So tonight's definitely a toss-up. It's going to be fun to watch. I really think so. Or it's going to be a stinker. It's either going to be really high-scoring or really a stinker. It's not. There's no in-between, I don't think. And basically that whole division, the Chargers are not as good as we think, guys. Like, yes, Justin Herbert is talented. Their coach stinks. All right, he stinks at picking any scenario. So their coach stinks. Their defense has holes still. All right, their offensive line could be better. Their running backs can be better. So the Chargers aren't as good as we thought. The Raiders, we'll see. They can turn it around. Looks like they're turning it around. And the Broncos, man, today's really showing us that they're not that good, man, on offense. Their receivers are just not that good. Their running backs are not that good. Their O-line is meh. So, like, we can put it all on Russell, but we just saw another quarterback go in there and take a dump. So, yeah, Russell's not doing much better, but it's not all on him. He's just a symptom. So, that's all that is. And the only reason I didn't pick the Titans to beat the Colts is because they haven't really been running Derrick Henry like they should. So I thought this game maybe it could have gone either way, and they ran him pretty well this game. But like I thought they'd do let him get behind quick and not run Derrick Henry, because Derrick Henry is the key to them winning, and that's really what that is. The Jags game, they had a chance to seal this game. They were up 17-14, and then I think Vegas flipped the script. I think the Jags were intended to win, and Vegas flipped it on everyone because they had the money line and everything. And I think they changed their mind with that, with all the turnovers. But it's crazy. That game was a crazy game. This Cowboys game, it started off making you think the Lions were gonna win, but the Lions couldn't score. They were just getting field goals and playing good defense. Dak was back his first game. They were just trying to scare people, thinking like, "Oh, is Dak not good, man?" But yeah, Dak would be fine, man. He's gonna be fine. Packers, man, this might be their down year. Like they can turn it around because they kind of have a soft schedule, so they can turn it around only because of that. But other than that, man, they're not doing anything in the playoffs. Like, I, can they? Like, can they though? Like, can they? I guess we'll have to see how they write it up. But other than that, we'll see how this night game goes. But thanks for watching, guys.